This recording may be a little, the volume may not be as good as I want. As you can see, I don't have my earbuds in today. I can't find them. So, anyways, so this is our 7018 Lap Weld weldment, our 7018 Lap Weld weldment. And so, what you need to do is cut two pieces, uh, 1.25 inch by 1/4 inch flat bar at 6 inches. You're going to cut two pieces, um, 1/4 inch flat bar. It's 1.25 inches across. It's a 1/4 inch in diameter and width, thickness. You cut it at 6 inches, and then you're going to tack it on either side. Tack it on the outside. Tack it on the outside. You never tack where you're going to weld, because you're going to burn through that. At least not at this level. That's at another grade level. All right. And again, a tack is just a little hit with the weld, just to put enough material there, just to hold it so that it's not moving. What I like to do with the lap weld is to find a piece of material that's junk that is the same thickness, so that it holds my top piece in place and not moving it as I'm making my weld. So I'm going to go ahead and tack these in place. Your amperage for, and we're going to be using 3 30-seconds electrode, 3 30-seconds. Again, our setting for that is 85 amps. 85 amps. You should have some junk rod stubs in your bucket. That's why I've been telling you not to throw those away. And so we're just going to tack them on the side here. Again, just enough metal on there, just enough electrode on there, just to hold it in place. And then we're going to turn around and do the same thing on the other side. All right, once I have it tacked and in place, we're going to do two different types of welds. We're going to do two different types of weld. Our first weld is going to be a two-pass. The first pass on a two-pass, your electrode is almost perpendicular. You're going to hold your electrode almost 90 degrees, just a little bit of a slight lean towards you, and again about 15 degrees in direction of travel. You're going to drag your electrode. The trick to this one is you want your electrode close enough to your top piece of metal that you're watching the weld puddle wash up in between where the two pieces of metal meet here. If you can see that on your screen there, push it off here, where the two pieces of metal meet. So you're going to be watching your weld puddle. Now you don't want to be at a 45, you don't want to be up on top of this top piece of metal. The majority of your bead is going to be on the bottom piece, but you're going to be watching the puddle as it washes up on top. The best way I can kind of describe it, if you've ever been over at a friend's house or something like that, you're spending the night at a buddy's house or something, and they've got one of these shower heads that don't, that you can't take off, and all of a sudden you see a hair on the wall, and so you're trying to get the shower head to kind of push over there, and so you're kind of forcing the flow of the shower head to kind of form a puddle to wash that hair off of there. You don't want to touch that hair. You don't know whose hair that is, so you're kind of trying to get that puddle of water to wash off. This is kind of the same thing. Okay, if your puddle is washing too far up, then you've got your electrode angled in the wrong direction. Right? So you want it almost perpendicular. Again, we're just dragging the electrode, not doing any type of motion, not yet. We're just dragging it take you almost this entire electrode again. We're only running down to the numbers, okay? And so I'm going to set this up. I'm going to run this one for you, and then show you what it should look like. And again, I apologize for the quality of the recording on this one. I got to find where my earbuds are, and I won't be doing any talking while I'm welding. And here we go. Now, I know in some of my other videos, I've talked about you kind of want to be able to watch the back of this bead. With this one, yeah, you want to be able to watch the back, but you're really, really concentrating on the front of that bead, what it's doing. You want to make sure that you get all the slag off of it. You'll notice that I'm using the sharp point of the chip and hammer. That's important. If you use, now the point is good if you've got a crevice or something you need to get out. But if you use the point, a lot of times you'll leave divots in there. That's not going to be good when it comes to your inspection. You don't want to leave any type of divots in there. Again, you'll notice I'm not beating on it like it's a 16-pound framing hammer. And for those of you that are in my welding class, I've welded this entire pass up. My next pass I'm only going to do about half of it. It's getting a little warm there. I'll get my big fingers out of the way. Let me grab it with the pliers. My next pass I'm going to weld about 3/4 of it up, and I will have it for you sitting on my desk so you can see. Okay, there's still a little bit of slag there, but you can see that it's connecting there, and then I've got a good bead right along the top here. And it's kind of difficult to see because of the lighting and everything, but I've got a good connection. Get my stuff out of the way here. Okay, I've got a good connection right along the top here. I've actually got this melted into the top here. Right. My next pass is going to be the same thing, but now I'm going to go at a 45. So I'm going to set my electrode up at a 45, and I'm going to go at the top toe of that weld. So I'm going to establish my arc, go in at a 45, and just run it at the top toe of that weld. Okay, and so I'm going to run this one about 3/4 on this pass. So that way you can see what the entire bead should look like, what the entire weld should look like. what my first pass should look like as well. All right? So, you notice I'm taking my time. I'm not in a big hurry about this. We're not in a race. Consistency is king. Consistency is king here. Okay? Too many tools. That's not what I wanted to do. Hold it up for Mr. Forte to see. There we go. Okay, that's what it should look like. We got a little bit of slag still right there on the bottom. I need to clean out. Normally, I would clean these out with a wire brush. Okay, and I'll have that. I will have that for you sitting on the booth. All right, that's what one side. That's what your first side is going to look like. Your second side is going to be. I think it's a little bit easier because it's a 3-pass. So your first side is going to be a 2-pass. Your second side is going to be a 3-pass because they're all run out of 45. All right, so you're driving your electrode right between where your two pieces of metal meet. So you're going to drive it right in there, and you're going to drag it out of 45. Okay. Again, your electrode is going to be about 10 or 12 degrees in direction of travel. And again, as with your first weld, you're going to kind of be watching the front of your puddle, making sure that you're staying right within and covering up where those two pieces of metal meet. You don't want to get too high, you don't want to get too low. Again, I'm over exaggerating for the benefit of the viewers. You want to stay right in the center where those two pieces of metal meet and drag it just a little bit. With 3/32, I tend to put a little bit more pressure on it because 3/32, I'm old and I tend to shake a little bit more. All right, there's a couple ways you can overcome that. You can do what we call a pull cue. If you can't hold it 3/32 where you need it to, pull cue it. Pull cue it. Put it right there and just follow it along. All right. Be warned, this electrode's going to get hot. And your fingers are going to get hot after a while. So as it shortens up, you may want to set it to where you can just kind of pull it out of your fingers. All right. Sometimes if I'm welding out of position on pipe or something like that, I may do that. Sometimes even here, maybe you'll want to get it started, and then as it shortens up, let it come out of your fingers. All right. So I'm going to start with the fresh electrode. I'm going to hold on to this one because I will use it again. See, I'm shaking already. I haven't had all my coffee yet today. It's early in the morning. Actually, it's not. notice how I set myself up. I've got my arm here. I set my arm on my hand so that my hand naturally falls. It takes me about 60 seconds, 45 seconds to make this complete 6-inch weld. It doesn't seem like a long time until you're sitting here trying to hold this electrode. If you're trying to weld like this, and especially with 330 seconds, you're going to be shaking like a cat trying to pass peach pits. All right? Set yourself up, make yourself comfortable, get to where you can make that entire pass. And here we go. Okay, we can clean it up. See that it's looking good. Wire brush keeps falling on me. You gotta make sure that you get all this slag out. It will show up in an x-ray. It will show up in any type of inspection that they do. All right, I'm going to cheat the system just a little bit, ladies and gentlemen, for the sake of time. For the sake of time, I'm going to cheat the system just a little bit. Because I want to hurry up and get this demo done for you. I've got my magic cleaner here, magic bus. And you're more than welcome to take yours outside and do these. Not enough room in this little bitty boot for me. Okay, so we got our first pass done, and I purposely kind of messed up on a little bit of, oh, Mr. Clark, it doesn't look as good as I want to. Okay, all right, well, that's fine. All right, because we're going to put 2 more passes on it. We're going to put a couple more passes on it. Our next pass is going to go on the bottom toe of this next weld. And so we're going to drag it right down here on this bottom toe. Okay? And I'm going to cover up again about 2/3 of this weld on our bottom toe here. About 2/3 of the weld, okay? And we're running at the same angle. We're running at a 45. We're trying to push that electrode into the bottom toe and where that weld meets. Where the weld meets the metal. Say that 10 times, 10 real fast. Where the weld meets the metal, okay? So that's our goal. Where the weld meets the metal, that bottom toe, we're trying to push that electrode right into that juncture there, okay? They welded up a little bit more of it than I actually wanted to, but that's all right. That's all right. Okay, this one should clean up pretty easy with the chip and hammer. You want to be careful with this weld that you're not leaving any slag on the top toe of that weld. You don't want to leave any slag on the top toe of that weld. And again, if you need to take it outside and put a wire brush to it, wire wheel, very, very important. And I think I'm going to just hit it real quick with my wire wheel, just to be on the safe side. Normally, I do not allow wire brushing and such in the booth because it leaves such a mess. And because it gets really, really loud when you've got, 10, 15, 20 students in here wire wheeling. That's more of what you want it to look like if you could see that. Now you see I got all the slag out from there. All right. My next and final pass, ladies and gentlemen, is going to to be on the top toe of this weld I just laid down. On the top toe, get my big head out of the way here. On the top toe of this weld I just laid down. All right, and so I'm going to drag it right across this top toe here, and I'll cover up about half of this so you can have an idea of what all three passes should look like. And again, you're going to be at a 45, and you should be coming up almost to the top corner here of this piece of metal right here. All right. And here we go. And let me get my chipping hammer spell here. Now, if you look real close, you can see just a little bit of this bottom weld, none of the first weld, and a whole lot of the last weld that I just put down there. All right, that's how it should be looking, ladies and gentlemen. I know this has been a long video. I apologize for the sound quality. If you've got any questions, I'll see you in the booth. This is Clark, and I'm out.